on today's show.
Is Lonzo Ball too passive? Are the Blazers a playoff lock? And is the Spurs losing streak a cause for concern?
Doc Rivers or the Cavs? Who will take home worst of the week?
And Sixers rookie Ben Simmons cracks this week's top 10 plays.
It's Friday, November 3rd. The starter starts now!
Good evening, sweet world, and welcome to the starters. Whether you're joining us live right now on NBA TV, a little bit later on YouTube, we're very happy to have you. I'm Jay Skeets, and alongside me, as always, that's Tass Millis.
You get an hour this weekend, kids.
Okay.
You get an hour this weekend. 3 a.m. on Saturday. It goes back to 2 a.m. Don't you forget it.
To his right, it's the international man of mystery, looking like the human version of Brick Breaker tonight, Lee Ellis.
Friends.
Lee!
Wow.
Score! I love this shirt.
Doink, doink, doink.
It looks like that old video game, Brick
It
Breaker.
sure does.
Unbelievable. Great shirt. And last, certainly not least, over yonder, it is the bearded one. It's Trey Kirby. Hey, yo! TK, what's up, my man?
Well, I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at #TheStarters, and yesterday we showed everybody some brand new ideas for in-arena fan cams as we launched soon-to-be classics like the, hey, can you pass that down cam? Very friendly, or the extremely proper, gentlemanly handshake cam. Yes, good day, good day.
You're
good
gonna
to see
kiss
you.
me,
Yes,
eh?
yes,
Good day,
yes.
good day, good sir.
Wow, you guys are really shaking. Or my personal favorite, the jazz flute cam, which I assume will be in use by the end of this weekend. But there are so many more ideas out there, which brings us to today's question. What other arena cams would you like to see? For instance, how about these gems that we left on the cutting room floor, the Matrix cam, where you're just doing slow-mo dodges all over the place, or the complete stillness cam, which is pretty self-explanatory, or my personal specialty, the how long is your neck cam? Because my neck is very long, but we want to hear from you, so let us know on Twitter what other in-arena fan cams would you like to see. Send us your best tweets to #TheStarters. We'll hear from you later.
Get those tweets in. We got a fun show tonight. Tass is going to hand out the Worst of the Week award, and we've got the top 10 plays from the past 7 days. Lee's got a very solid play, but first, let's start with a little true or false. Only 2 games on last night, but some storylines to dissect. So Trey, you got some questions for us.
That's right, Lonzo Ball put the O in Lonzo last night as the rookie went for 0 points on just 0 of 2 shooting, and the Lakers lost to the Blazers. That led to Coach Luke Walton saying he was a little too passive, and Lonzo himself admitting he could have been more aggressive. Guys, true or false, Lonzo is too passive to be a star.
Yeah, that's very false. Yeah, he had a bad game. He shot twice, but he is shooting 11 times a game. It's not like he shoots twice per game. It's Jason Kidd-esque. Jason Kidd, his first 3 of his first 4 years, 11 or less. His first 10 games or so, he had a 4-shot game, a 6-shot game. So he's passive. He wants to get people involved. Is that a bad thing? I don't think so. I'd rather have a guy who works his butt off, plays D, goes after boards, does the little things, and doesn't shoot, because you can sort of get him aggressive at some point rather than teaching a guy effort. I mean, those are great signs for him out of the gate.
His second game of his career, Lonzo Ball had 27 shots, scored 29 points against the Phoenix Suns, and he had 2 shots last night, and one of those was kind of blocked at the end of the shot clock.
Yeah.
There's got to be middle ground somewhere.
Yeah.
And whether that's him or Luke Walton or just the Lakers teammates, he has to be a little bit more aggressive. He doesn't have to shoot 27 times, but he has to shoot more than 2 times because you have to put pressure on the person defending you. And if you're not shooting, you're really giving that other guy a chance to double down on another player or just to move away from him and not necessarily defend Lonzo. I know the comparison that a lot of people are saying is to Jason Kidd. I actually think Mark Jackson is probably a better comparison because Mark Jackson wasn't a great shooter, but he found a way to score. And he only took 9 shots for his career and averaged about 9 points. So that could be a more reflective comparison of Lonzo at this stage. Things could obviously change throughout his career, but it was a guy who couldn't shoot, still found a way to be effective while scoring the ball.
Luke Walton needs to tell, and he is saying this and we're hearing it, he needs to tell Lonzo to be more aggressive because, I mean, I know it's early here, small sample size, but you look at the numbers, the breakdown, when he's shooting a lot and when he's obviously scoring, it helps the Lakers out, and they need it. And in all these losses, I mean, there's next to nothing. In the 3 wins, he's got 51 field goal attempts, and in the 5 losses, 5 games, 2 more, he's only got 38. And look, he's not even shooting 40% in those wins, but you got to keep the defense a little bit honest, and you are out there, and we know you can score too. He didn't light it up in college. I think we need to point that out.
Yeah, he's never going to be a 25-point per game guy.
I would argue he may never be a 20-point per game scorer.
Yeah, sure.
In the season. And that's fine, because Tass says he can impact the game in many other ways. But at the same time, especially in today's game where you can get your 3-point shots, you're also playing the Blazers, who are not a defensive juggernaut by any means, you got to give him a little bit more than just 2 shots.
I like how we're pointing out this game like he had a terrible game. He was also plus 10 when he was out there.
Yeah.
I mean, he was impacting the game in a lot of ways, and he's just so ridiculously athletic. And that's why I think he is a little bit more like Jason Kidd, because he can score in a lot of ways. You know, Mark Jackson found a way to back that booty up plenty in the post, and he was very good at that. But to me, he'll never be a 20-point game scorer, and who cares? I don't think that really matters.
Trey, what's the next one?
All right, and what has strangely become the B story to that same game, the Blazers won last night thanks to a clutch Damian Lillard almost buzzer-beating three-pointer. That moved the Blazers to 5-4 on the season, but as their coach Terry Stotts said, they're just a few possessions from being 8-1. Guys, it's still early, but true or false, the Blazers are a playoff lock.
Lock.
False.
Lock is harsh right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they look good.
I agree.
They look solid. But, I mean, you just go through the teams. Who are the 4 locks? Warriors, Rockets, probably the Thunder. And if Kawhi ever gets back here, you can put the Spurs into the playoffs. And then you've got 4 more spots for 6 or 7 teams. Clippers, Wolves, Grizzlies, Jazz, Nuggets, Blazers, of course, in the mix there. And then maybe even the Pelicans.
Yeah.
So you can't, November 3rd, I'm not locking the Blazers in. But I do like that their defense looks a little bit better. It didn't last night, I will say, but it looks a little bit better on the season than it did last year when they were one of the worst defensive teams. They're top 10 right now.
Yeah, they're up to 9 right now, and that's the key.
Better.
And they're actually best in the league at protecting the rim, which is important because they're not great perimeter defenders. So if those guys get beaten, you got Big Nurk back there who's blocking shots and deflecting shots. So that's really important. At least Terry Stotts has got something to build on. They've got to keep up their offense. They're getting
the offense is never going to be a problem.
Yeah, they're getting good contributions from guys outside of Lillard and McCollum, but they've got to make sure that they're getting those from those guys every night, because if those guys drop off, then they're in trouble.
They're playing in the wrong conference, as you mentioned. If they're playing the East, it'd be a different story.
It'd be a lock,
and people mock the NBA or the NHL because every team makes the postseason. But as you said, DeMarcus Cousins, Anthony Davis, they could be on the outside looking in. There's going to be some good teams in the West on the outside looking in. And we talked about this today on our podcast on The Drop, and Trey had me nodding my head, maybe this Blazers team can get in there because they're top 10 offense and defense. But that still doesn't guarantee a playoff spot. I mean, it reminded me of the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Kevin Love days, 13-14. They won 40 games. They were 9th offense, 12th on defense. They're very good. But when you're playing in the West, there are a lot of very good teams.
Yeah, but they got Dame time in Portland. He's
what a shot last night, the step back over Ingram. They put some length on him to try and make it more difficult, and still Dame steps back huge and hits the 3. And Stotts is right, and Trey said it in the intro there, 3 of their 4 losses have been really, really close. They're not that far away from being 8-1, and they would be the talk of the NBA right now if that was their record.
And that one quarter against the Raptors where they only scored 1 field goal, that basically cost them another game as well there. So, and that was at home. So they've been close. Just on that game winner, though, I'll play devil's advocate here. I don't think that was a great shot. There was no ball movement. Dame had been to the free throw. Dame had been to the free throw line 14 times in that game. I think he should have at least...
Don't need a 3, I guess.
Don't need a 3 at all. He should have gone at least toward the bar. He made it, great. If he misses that and they lose in overtime, I think they gave up a better chance.
Yeah, but you saw the game.
I know he made it. I know it's great. It's great when they go in.
You're right. But down the stretch of that game, I mean, it wasn't just Dame time on that one shot. He was hitting back.
I know.
This game was going back and forth with the crazy shots, and he was a part of many of them.
Big positive for the Blazers. They've started the season off well, as we've mentioned multiple times the last 2 years. They've picked it up the second half of the season. They've sort of just not done all that well the first half, and then made their playoff push and made the playoffs the second half of the season, at least this year. They've got a plus 500 record to start the year.
If that defense is above average, then they're looking really good for the playoffs in my mind. Because the offense, again, you got McCollum and Lillard are going to give you 50 points a night guaranteed, like combined. That's what they do. Nurkic had his best game offensively against the Lakers last night.
Pat Connaughton's killing it right now.
He can't miss a 3 right now. But if that defense can just be above average, then they probably are going to get in. But there's a lot of teams. You're right.
Amino out a couple weeks as well. That kind of hurts.
Next one, Trey.
All right, after starting the season with 4 straight wins, last night's loss to the Warriors gave the Spurs a 4-game losing streak for just the 5th time since Greg Popovich took over. They got blown out in the second half against the Dubs. They've got a bottom 5 offense right now, and there's no timetable for Kawhi Leonard's return. Guys, true or false, the Spurs' 4-game losing streak is a concern.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Take the best player off every team except the Warriors. Russell Westbrook off the Thunder. Are they a 500 team like the Spurs? I don't think so. Take Harden off the Rockets? I don't think so. Take LeBron off the Cavs? I don't think so. It's okay for them to be 500. They started off 4-0. They lost to a hot Magic team. They lost to the Pacers. They lost to the Celtics.
They got teams just at the bad times
Yeah,
for them.
3 of those on the road, and then the
Exactly.
Warriors at home last night.
Yeah.
You're not
And-
worried?
and Tony-
Here's the worry. When's Kawhi coming back?
Yeah.
Big worry.
That is the worry, and either the Spurs are being coy about it, and they usually are. They don't like to say, well, he's coming back in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Pop giving his, I don't know, when the medical staff tells me he's ready to go, then I'll take a look at him and I'll talk to him, and then we'll try and get him out there. But you really see the importance, of course, of his ability to score, because Aldridge has been pretty solid here early on.
The
in
numbers
season.
are good.
Yeah.
They continue. It feels like a really stagnant offense, though. They just continuously
Slow.
are going to him, and I don't know if it's a method to the madness there that they're just saying to him, all right, you're getting your touches now, so come postseason, you just are going to be ready at all times. But their offense isn't all that great. As you
And
said, it's
remember,
bottom 5.
Yeah.
They're missing Tony Parker as well. He's supposed to be back soon. And Patty Mills hasn't been great for them filling in. And DeJounte Murray's had some okay games. So there's just a lot of pieces that probably will change once the regulars come back.
But no panic right now.
I don't
No
think
panic. But yesterday on the broadcast, on the TNT broadcast, I think it's a little under talked about right now. They basically said, well, they're trying to condition this injury from last year. It wasn't being responded to in the summer, and now we're just taking off the training camp and this early start to the season. So who the heck knows when he's coming back?
We will see. Got to take a quick break, but after the jump, TAS Awards, the dishonor for worst of the week. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the show. It's time for a Friday staple here on The Starters. It's time for the worst of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, the worst of the week.
Now, before we get to the winner, let's run through a couple nominees that didn't make the cut. Second runner-up is Doc Rivers. Now, I was a little torn over this one because he was very open in an interview with Zach Lowe about the culture switch with Chris Paul leaving, but I think he was a little too open. He said CP wanted to come back, and JJ Redick, he was begging me to come back. Now, I think those negotiations, even if that was true, which JJ Redick vehemently denies that he wanted to come back, I think you just keep those behind closed doors. Do you need to come out and talk about it that way?
I agree. It really accomplishes nothing, Doc saying this, because either JJ's going to contradict him like he did, and it makes Doc look like he's not telling the truth, or JJ really did want to come back and Doc didn't want him, and then you're just giving away JJ Redick for no reason. So what's the upside for Doc here?
There's JJ quote right there. There was never any indication from my agent that I wanted to go back to the Clips. I didn't beg to come back. I didn't want to come back.
Those are secret
That was Redick.
conversations.
Okay. So as a nominee,
Lock those up. Just don't talk about it. All right. Yes, that was the second runner-up. We had a weak week, let's be honest here. The first runner-up is the Wizards' Carrick Felix. Well, he was a Wizard. Unfortunately, he had an unguaranteed contract. He hadn't played a minute. Then during this little fracas between Bradley Beal and Draymond Green, he came off the bench. He took a few steps off the bench and was suspended for 1 game. So he lost some of his salary of his unguaranteed deal. Then this week, he was cut from the Wizards. Gonzo. So this 2013 second-round pick, he played 7 games that year. Next 3 years, didn't play a single game. He was in the D-League, wasn't affiliated with any team. And this year, didn't play a minute, and then cut. So unfortunately, his NBA career
tough
hasn't
week.
been that long, and he lost. I know we always, when somebody says, "Oh, feel sorry for this NBA player," say, he makes a lot of money. Well, in this instance, he's not making a lot of money, but hopefully he finds another team. Now, the winner of worst of the week goes to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yeah, you knew it.
Yeah, had to
yeah,
be.
you
Had
knew
to
it.
be. Bad week.
Yeah, a lackadaisical play out there. They just have been dispirited all over the basketball floor. Offense, defense, they've lost 4 in a row and 5 of the last 6, but they didn't even care to stay on the floor for 48 minutes here. This is before the buzzer. They just say, whatever, just
Bye.
take it. We're out of here. Gone against the Nets. And did the same thing against the Knicks only a few days later.
Yeah.
You can see on the left side of your screen, they want to leave the bench, but they're told, no, you got to stop. You got to stop. There are seconds left on the clock, guys.
We still got a game.
And finally, the buzzer goes off. Okay, we can leave now. It's an odd thing. They just don't seem very into anything at all.
Do you think this will turn around their season? Do you think someone will go up to LeBron and say, "Tas Melis just gave you worst of the week"? You and your team.
Sure.
You don't think he'll turn them around?
No, I don't think so.
No, it is very weird. It's just weird to see. We talked about them all week long, it felt like,
Yeah.
here on the show, about the Cavs and their disinterest in playing defense. They're struggling on offense. It's been tough. They got the Wizards tonight,
Yeah, well,
right?
they got some bulletin board material for that because apparently John Wall was saying that the Cavs tanked that number 1 spot in the East because they didn't want to face the Wizards in the second round. So that's probably the kind of thing, though, the Cavs need is like... hey,
Yeah,
look,
either that or the worst of the week nomination victory.
Do you,
Wow,
do
what
you
a
think
night.
Coach Lou is in any jeopardy of being canned here after this slow start? He says he can't sleep at night with all these losses, but do you think there's
No, I don't think so.
Not in jeopardy at all?
No, something disastrous, catastrophic would have to happen to the Cavs. They'd lose 15 in a row or something. That's not going to happen. I think because he won the championship a couple of seasons ago, that gives him a fairly long leash.
I like that he knows what's going on because he keeps saying last year our offense saved us a lot of the times, and even though our defense wasn't great, our offense was clicking and we hit a lot of threes. We obviously had Kyrie, and that's a heck of a loss when you take out 25 points per game, especially when the guy that's replacing him isn't even playing in Isaiah Thomas. So he knows that we either got to get back to humming on offense or try and get some stops here despite being old. And we can't stop anyone in transition. And we're not that great in the half-court set either because we just lose guys going backdoor all the time. It's bad. He knows it, but he's got to get it across to the team.
My worry isn't for Ty Lue's job, it's for LeBron leaving. I think the older they look, the more sour it gets, the less that they try. He just looks around and says, wow, this is the oldest team in the league. I might want to go
quite
somewhere.
a bit. And even Dwayne Wade is saying this is starting to already feel like the 2014 Heat, which is not what you want to hear because LeBron left the 2014 Heat.
Yeah, not a good week for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think that's a fair worst of the week dishonor. All right, when we come back, we're going to count down the top 10 plays from the past 7 days. Got another good one. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Starters, where it's time to count down the top 10 plays from the past 7 days, and we start at number 10. That makes sense. Sixers rookie Ben Simmons going down the lane and punching it home
Simo.
against the Hawks.
Oh,
That was nice. He's getting us started nice here. Nice. Nice.
nice. At number 9, Westbrook to Steven Adams.
I like how he hammers it home.
Put him in the mix.
Shout out to the Southern Hemisphere rocking.
Yeah, Australia, New Zealand.
Yeah.
What's next? Number 8, we got 2 sweet dimes here. Look at this play from Dedmon and Bazemore. They're running a 3-man weave with 2 guys. Look at this. Hand off. All right. And then Brown crushes it home. Nice finish. And one more nice little pass here from Lonzo. Whoop.
Oh, nice.
The court awareness there.
Yeah.
Little tip.
Smart. And he's celebrating before he even catches it.
Yeah.
At number 7, it's Giannis time.
Oh, man.
Huge dunk on a couple Hornets.
Yeah.
Frank, get out of the way. Cody, nope.
Sorry, Frank and Cody.
Frank and Cody.
At number 6, Kemba Walker showing the little mini yo-yo action here, and then the sweet and one reverse.
I feel we see this like 5 or 6 times a year.
Yeah, Eric, give us a better camera angle. There we go. There's a little mini yo-yo
Crafty.
underneath. And one.
Time ticking down. Number 5 here. Dame, tie game. Rudy Gobert sends it to overtime with a big block.
That's a lot of wingspan. Look at this.
That's why he shot from the 3-point line against the Lakers.
Yeah, Lee.
What, because Rudy was playing for the
No,
Lakers?
no.
Yeah.
At number 4,
He
Chris
got
Dunn.
traded.
Down the lane. And the very rare two-handed poster.
Oof.
I like Chris Dunk.
Nice. Crispy dunk from Chris Dunn. Putting Kelly on the poster there.
Here's Damian Lillard.
Ah.
It's going to get into the lane. Game
In your face.
from Dame.
Oh, this is
Good D. Good D from Ingram. He's right there.
Oh, yeah.
better shot. What time is it?
It's Dame time.
At number 2, check the putback dunk from Donovan Mitchell. The Jazz rookie flying out of nowhere, climbing the ladder.
More like Dunkovan Mitchell.
Ah, yeah.
Get
nice.
out. Get out.
Here comes another dunker. Andrew Wiggins, a huge dunk. There's 40 seconds left in this game. He decides, I'm just going to go to the rim
I've said it
with a
before.
monstrous dunk.
It's like how he dunks just looks so cool where he leans forward.
Got a good glide.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was a late dunk.
Pretty
in that game.
stuff.
Solid top 10. All right, after the jump, Lily hits us with the very solid play. Don't go anywhere.
Lillard picked up by Ingram. Lillard. This is for the win.
What a shot. See some more great finishes like that tonight on Crunch Time, 9 p.m. Eastern here on NBA TV. All right, we asked you earlier in the show, what are some other arena cams that you'd like to see. There's Lee doing the very weird Matrix cam. You jumped on Twitter, hashtag the starter. Trey, you got a few of the best answers.
Yeah, some good ones. This one comes from Bernard, who says, I'd like to see the flop cam. Fans could show everyone in the arena their best Marcus Smart impressions. Flop cam's actually a great
That's a
idea.
good call.
Pike says, give us the wedgie cam.
I don't know.
You reach over, tear your friend's underwear off. Sounds
No,
great.
let's not do that.
My favorite, though, comes from Brett, who says, the big baller cam. Give your best LeVar strut.
Yeah.
I feel like noodle arm man right here. Noodle cam.
Good suggestions. Good suggestions. All right, last night's pick'em game was the Warriors Spurs. Spurs got out into a big lead, but the Warriors are the Warriors, so we all had the dubs. We all pick up the win. Every weeknight, we attempt to pick the winner of these random NBA games in our pick'em battle because the stakes are high. If you have the worst record at the end of the month, you got to do something either weird or gross or painful, like getting ice thrown at you, wearing a 30-pound pumpkin on your head like Tass did for October. So that's why we do this. Tonight's game, it's Bucks at Pistons. It's on League Pass. It's already underway. Trey, you're the only one with Detroit. Everybody else has the Bucks. Can someone get an update on the score in this game?
1-1. Just a guess.
Okay. Lee, where are we going, man?
Portland, for a big man with a beautiful bounce pass. This time it's Nurk doing work, finding Dame on a dime. It's Dollar with a holler.
Oh my
Wow.
my God, man. What are you, Bo?
Someone has some time on their hands.
On today's Drop podcast, which is up on Apple Podcasts and wherever you listen to the starters, we discussed a few players and teams going under the radar early in the season, why the 76ers won't just buy out Jahlil Okafor. We had a debate about that. And Lee tells us about the movie that changed his life.
Karate Kid. When I was 9 years old, I thought I could beat up anybody, overcome anybody.
Yeah.
And that was it. And that carried on through life, you know. When you get drunk and you're in a nightclub and the bouncer throws you out, you're outside and you give him the whole stand.
Are you? I can't tell if you're serious right now.
Deadly serious producing that.
Let's see your best one. Come on, nailed it. Guys, we'll see you on Monday. We'll see you on Monday.
Thank you so much for joining us, folks. And let's give a shout out to our control room for making this happen. Let's see it again. Wow.
Maker! Race the weekend, people.
Oh, we're going to see this for a good 12 seconds. We got time.
High score.
Come on back. Nice. Ball's back. Nice.
Well, we need the thing at the bottom.
All right, see you later, Ball.